For millennia, the ocean's depths remained Earth's last true frontier, a realm of crushing pressure and perpetual darkness. Scientists and explorers theorized about its secrets, but no human had ever ventured to its ultimate nadir. The Mariana Trench, specifically the Challenger Deep, represented the pinnacle of this challenge, a chasm nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. Its exploration required not just courage, but an entirely new class of vessel, one capable of withstanding forces previously considered impossible for manned craft. This is the story of how that challenge was met. The concept that would eventually conquer the deep began not with a navy, but with a visionary Swiss physicist named Auguste Piccard. According to historical accounts, Piccard, already renowned for his pioneering stratospheric balloon flights, shifted his gaze from the sky to the ocean. He recognized that conventional submarine designs, relying on compressed air for buoyancy, were inadequate for extreme depths. Instead, he envisioned a vessel that would be structurally sound under immense pressure, yet still buoyant enough to ascend. Piccard's radical solution was the Bathyscaphe, a portmanteau combining bathys, deep, and scaphe, light boat. Unlike a bathysphere, which relied on a surface ship for tethered deployment and recovery, a bathyscaphe was an independent, self-propelled craft. Its core principle involved a heavy steel sphere, designed to withstand extreme pressure, attached to a float chamber filled with a lighter-than-water substance, namely gasoline. Gasoline, being less compressible than water, maintained its buoyancy even at crushing depths, a crucial innovation. The construction of Piccard's vision began in Italy, specifically at the Cantieri Riuniti dell'Adriatico shipyard in Trieste. This is where the vessel would earn its name, the Bathyscaphe Trieste. Reports from the time indicate that the design incorporated a primary float hull, housing 85,000 liters of gasoline for buoyancy, and a separate, spherical crew compartment, just 2 meters in diameter. This sphere, crafted from 9 cm thick steel, was the only part designed to withstand the full brunt of deep-sea pressure. The Trieste's early operations began in the Mediterranean Sea, funded initially by the French Navy. Auguste Piccard, often accompanied by his son Jacques Piccard, conducted numerous test dives. These initial descents, according to naval records, served to refine the Bathyscaphe systems and prove its operational capabilities at intermediate depths. It was during these trials that the practicalities of ballast release, ascent, and descent were perfected, setting the stage for more ambitious expeditions. The vessel slowly proved its worth, laying the groundwork for its future legacy. The potential of the Trieste did not go unnoticed. In 1958, the United States Navy acquired the Bathyscaphe. This acquisition marked a pivotal moment, signaling a serious commitment from a major world power to deep-sea exploration. Naval reports indicate the U.S. Navy saw the Trieste as an invaluable asset for research, particularly for understanding the vast, unexplored regions of the ocean floor that held strategic interest. The transfer included not just the vessel, but also the expertise of its designers and operators, a crucial element for future missions. With the Trieste under U.S. Navy command, attention soon turned to the ultimate challenge, reaching Earth's deepest known point. This ambitious endeavor was officially designated Project Necton. Naval documents confirmed the objective: a manned descent to the Challenger Deep, located within the Mariana Trench. This wasn't merely a test of engineering, it was a mission to push the boundaries of human presence in the ocean, to gather direct observations from a place previously only imagined. The project represented the pinnacle of mid-20th century oceanographic ambition. For such a monumental undertaking, an extraordinary crew was required. The two individuals selected for the historic dive were Jacques Piccard, the son of the Bathyscaphe's inventor and an experienced oceanographer himself, and U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh. Piccard brought invaluable expertise from years of working with his father on the Trieste's development and early dives. Walsh, a skilled submariner, represented the Navy's commitment and technical prowess. Their combined knowledge and courage would be essential for navigating the unknown pressures of the deep. The Challenger Deep, situated in the western Pacific Ocean near Guam, is the deepest known point in Earth's oceans. Its extreme depth, initially measured in the late 19th century by HMS Challenger, presented unparalleled engineering and biological challenges. The pressure at its bottom is approximately 16,000 pounds per square inch, or 1,100 standard atmospheres, equivalent to placing 50 jumbo jets on a small car. Any vessel attempting to reach it needed to be an engineering marvel, capable of resisting forces that would flatten conventional submarines. Transporting the massive Bathyscaphe and its support equipment across the Pacific was a monumental logistical challenge. The Trieste itself was not designed for long-distance surface travel and required a specialized transport ship. According to naval logs, the journey involved careful planning for weather, fuel, and the precise rendezvous point above the Challenger Deep. Every piece of equipment, from communication systems to life support for the crew, had to be meticulously checked and rechecked, knowing that a single failure at such depths could be catastrophic. On the eve of the dive, the final preparations were intense. Reports from the expedition describe the thoroughness of the pre-dive checks, conducted by both Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh, alongside the Navy support team. Every bolt, every valve, every electrical connection within the Trieste was inspected. The ballast, consisting of iron shot, and the buoyancy gasoline were carefully measured. The crew's life support systems, including oxygen and carbon dioxide scrubbers, were confirmed. The weight of human expectation rested heavily on these critical final assessments. At 8:23 a.m. on January 23, 1960, the Bathyscaphe Trieste, with Piccard and Walsh aboard, began its historic descent into the Challenger Deep. The two men, sealed inside the small, spherical pressure hull, started their journey into the unknown. On the surface, the support ship, USS Lewis, monitored their progress. Initial reports indicate the descent was smooth, though agonizingly slow. The world above held its breath, unaware of the incredible sights and sounds that awaited the intrepid explorers in the silent, crushing darkness below. The descent was not a rapid plunge but a measured, controlled fall. According to Piccard's later accounts, the crew maintained a constant watch over their instruments, meticulously logging depth, pressure, and temperature. The external environment grew progressively colder and darker. Communication with the surface became increasingly challenging as they went deeper, relying on specialized sonar and acoustic links. The immense weight of the ocean above them exerted an ever-increasing squeeze on their vessel, a constant, palpable reminder of the peril. The entire descent to the bottom would take approximately 9 hours. For Piccard and Walsh, this meant hours of intense focus, monitoring systems, and enduring the confines of their small sphere. The dive was a test of endurance as much as it was a feat of engineering. With each passing hour, they pushed further into uncharted territory, surpassing previous depth records. The journey was not just downwards, but also inwards, as the two men faced the psychological challenges of extreme isolation and the silent, immense power of the deep ocean. Approximately halfway through their descent, at a depth of around 9,000 meters, a sharp, loud crack echoed through the Trieste's cabin. Both Piccard and Walsh reported hearing the sound. Their immediate concern was immense. At such depths, structural failure meant instant catastrophe. A quick inspection revealed that an outer plexiglass viewing port, part of the entry tube between the main ballast tank and the crew sphere, had cracked. While not immediately compromising the main pressure sphere, it was a chilling reminder of the extreme forces at play and the ever-present danger. Despite the alarming sound and the cracked viewport, Piccard and Walsh made a critical decision: to continue the mission. According to their logs, they assessed the damage and determined that the primary pressure sphere remained intact and secure. To abort then would have meant sacrificing years of effort and the opportunity to reach the Challenger Deep. Their resolve, a blend of scientific curiosity and sheer determination, propelled them forward, pushing through the apprehension and deeper into the abyss, a true testament to their courage under immense pressure. At 1:06 p.m. local time, after a descent of 4 hours and 48 minutes, the Bathyscaphe Trieste touched down on the floor of the Challenger Deep. The altimeter indicated a depth of 10,916 meters, or 35,814 feet, according to the official report. This was later refined slightly by more precise measurements to 10,911 meters. No human had ever been so deep. The silence on the seabed was absolute, broken only by the hum of the Trieste systems. They had achieved what was once considered impossible, proving the resilience of both their vessel and their own spirit. Piccard and Walsh spent approximately 20 minutes on the ocean floor. The view through their small, sturdy viewport was stark, a vast, flat expanse of diatomaceous ooze, illuminated only by the Trieste's powerful external lights. The pressure outside their sphere was an unimaginable 1,100 standard atmospheres, or roughly 16,000 pounds per square inch. Reports from the crew emphasized the profound silence and the otherworldly landscape. This brief period on the bottom was critical for observation, a direct encounter with Earth's least known environment. Against prevailing scientific theories, which suggested life could not exist below 6,000 meters due to extreme pressure and lack of light, Piccard and Walsh made a groundbreaking discovery. Through their viewport, they observed marine life, specifically, a flatfish and some shrimp. Walsh later recounted seeing a creature resembling a sole or flounder, approximately 30 centimeters long, moving away from the Trieste's lights. This direct observation challenged established biological paradigms and hinted at the incredible adaptability of life on Earth. The discovery of macrofauna at such extreme depths had immediate and profound scientific repercussions. It forced a re-evaluation of oceanographic and biological models. Prior to the Trieste's dive, the accepted hypothesis, supported by many prominent scientists, posited an abiotic zone below 6,000 meters. The presence of fish and shrimp directly contradicted this, proving that life could not only endure but thrive under conditions previously deemed impossible. This finding opened new avenues for research into extremophiles and the origins of life. After 20 historic minutes on the seabed, Piccard and Walsh initiated their ascent. To rise, the Trieste released its iron shot ballast, a controlled process that allowed the gasoline in its float to provide sufficient buoyancy. The journey upwards was quicker than the descent, taking approximately 3 hours and 17 minutes. While the immediate danger of crushing pressure lessened, the long ascent still required constant monitoring, ensuring no issues arose as the external pressure gradually decreased and the vessel approached the surface. The Bathyscaphe Trieste broke the surface of the Pacific Ocean at 4:56 p.m., greeted by the anxious crew of the USS Lewis. The dive, from launch to recovery, had lasted just over 13 hours. According to naval records and eyewitness accounts, the sight of the Trieste re-emerging from the depths was met with profound relief and celebration. Piccard and Walsh had not only survived an unprecedented journey but returned with tangible proof that the deepest parts of our planet harbored life. Their triumphant return marked a new era in ocean exploration. News of the Trieste's successful dive to the Challenger Deep, and especially the discovery of life, quickly spread around the globe. It was a monumental achievement, comparable in public imagination to the early space flights that would soon follow. Newspapers worldwide hailed the feat as a triumph of engineering and human courage. The dive cemented the Trieste's place in history and elevated Jacques Piccard and Walsh to the ranks of legendary explorers. Their mission had opened a window into a previously inaccessible world. The Bathyscaphe Trieste's dive was more than just a record-breaking descent, it was a foundational moment for all subsequent deep-sea exploration. It proved the viability of manned submersibles for extreme depths and provided crucial data on material science, buoyancy systems, and life support under immense pressure. Its success directly influenced the design and development of future deep-sea vehicles, both manned and unmanned. The Trieste laid the intellectual and practical groundwork for understanding our planet's deepest trenches. While the original Trieste became a historical artifact, its spirit of exploration continued. The U.S. Navy commissioned an updated version, the Trieste II, which served for many years as a vital research and recovery submersible. However, it was the original Trieste's pioneering dive that inspired generations of oceanographers, engineers, and adventurers. Subsequent missions, including James Cameron's solo dive in 2012, all owe a debt to the bathyscaphe that first breached the ultimate ocean frontier. The quest to understand the deep continues, driven by that initial success. The scientific findings from the Trieste's dive extended far beyond marine biology. The data collected on temperature, salinity, and sediment composition provided invaluable insights into the unique geological and chemical processes occurring in hadal zones. This understanding of extreme environments on Earth has even informed astrobiological research, helping scientists consider the potential for life in similarly harsh conditions on other planets and moons. The Trieste inadvertently contributed to a broader scientific understanding of habitability itself. The primary challenge of the Challenger Deep was, and remains, pressure. At 10,916 meters, the weight of the water column above is immense, roughly equivalent to 1,100 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. To put this into perspective, consider the engineering marvel of the Trieste sphere. Made of thick steel, it had to be perfectly symmetrical and flawlessly constructed to distribute this unimaginable load. Any imperfection could have led to catastrophic collapse, a constant silent threat during the entire 13-hour mission. Beyond scientific and engineering achievements, the Trieste's dive also subtly contributed to ocean conservation awareness. By revealing the existence of life in Earth's most remote habitat, it underscored the interconnectedness of all ecosystems and the vast, unknown biodiversity that might exist. This discovery prompted a greater appreciation for the fragility and uniqueness of deep-sea environments, influencing later calls for protection and sustainable management of the world's oceans. The deep was no longer an empty void, but a vibrant, albeit hidden, part of our planet. Jacques Piccard, often overshadowed by his father's initial fame, emerged as a hero in his own right. His detailed accounts of the dive provide invaluable first-hand perspectives. He described the initial fear during the crack, the profound silence at the bottom, and the awe of witnessing life where none was expected. Piccard consistently emphasized the collaborative nature of the mission, acknowledging the ingenuity of his father's design and the dedication of the U.S. Navy team. His humility and scientific rigor defined his role in this historic achievement. Lieutenant Don Walsh, as the U.S. Navy's representative, brought critical operational expertise to the mission. His background as a submariner and his calm demeanor were vital during the harrowing dive. Walsh's subsequent career was profoundly shaped by the Trieste. He became a respected oceanographer and advocate for deep-sea exploration, often sharing his unique experiences. His practical insights into the mechanics of deep diving and his observational skills contributed significantly to the mission's success and its scientific validation. The Bathyscaphe Trieste was an undisputed engineering marvel of its time. Its ability to withstand 16,000 psi was a testament to the meticulous calculations and robust construction techniques employed. The use of gasoline for buoyancy, a counterintuitive solution for a submersible, was a stroke of genius that allowed for unprecedented depths. Every system, from the ballast release to the observation ports, represented cutting-edge technology for the 1950s. It was a machine built to defy the very laws of physics that had confined humanity to the surface for so long. The Trieste incorporated several key innovations that allowed it to achieve its historic feat. These advancements were critical to its success and laid the groundwork for future deep-sea craft. To fully appreciate the Trieste, it's vital to contrast it with earlier and contemporary submersibles. Conventional submarines, while capable of submerging, are designed for relatively shallower depths, relying on compressed air to fill ballast tanks for buoyancy control. The Trieste, however, utilized the unique properties of gasoline for its float and a completely separate, heavily armored pressure sphere for its crew. This fundamental design difference allowed it to reach depths that were utterly inaccessible to any other manned vessel of its time, fundamentally redefining what was possible. Despite the Trieste's monumental achievement, the deep ocean remains largely unexplored. Less than 5% of Earth's oceans have been mapped in detail, and even less has been directly observed. The Challenger deep dive, while definitive, only offered a fleeting glimpse. Countless species, geological formations, and chemical processes await discovery. The Trieste journey served as a profound reminder that even in an age of space exploration, our own planet holds vast, alien landscapes right beneath the waves, continuing to challenge our understanding. After its historic dive and subsequent service to the U.S. Navy, the Bathyscaphe Trieste was eventually retired. Today, this iconic vessel is preserved as a permanent exhibit at the National Museum of the United States Navy in Washington, D.C. It stands as a tangible symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Visitors can stand before the very sphere that carried two men to the deepest point on Earth, reflecting on the challenges overcome and the new horizons opened by this singular achievement in exploration. While the Trieste was a marvel of engineering, its story is ultimately one of human endeavor. It is the story of Auguste Piccard's initial audacious vision, Jacques Piccard's dedication to his father's dream, and Don Walsh's unwavering courage. Their willingness to face unimaginable risks, to sit for hours in a cramped sphere descending into the unknown, speaks to a fundamental human drive to explore, to understand, and to push beyond perceived limits. The Trieste's legacy reminds us that true discovery often requires both technological brilliance and profound human daring. The scientific community's initial skepticism about life at extreme depths was completely overturned by the Trieste's findings. This direct observational evidence provided irrefutable proof, validating the endurance of life. Moreover, the data collected on the trench's geology, currents, and water properties provided a baseline for subsequent research, allowing scientists to build more accurate models of deep-sea ecosystems. The mission transformed speculative theories into empirical facts, a critical step in scientific progress. The Trieste mission also exemplifies global cooperation in scientific endeavors. Designed by a Swiss physicist, built in Italy, and ultimately acquired and operated by the U.S. Navy, the project transcended national borders. The collaboration between Jacques Piccard, a civilian scientist, and Don Walsh, a military officer, further highlights this synergy. This international effort pooling resources, expertise, and vision was essential for tackling such a monumental challenge, demonstrating how shared goals can drive humanity to extraordinary achievements. The call of the deep remains as compelling today as it was in 1960. While the Trieste's record has been matched and even slightly surpassed by modern, uncrewed vehicles, the pioneering spirit of its manned descent continues to inspire. The questions it answered, and the many more it raised, continue to fuel research into hydrothermal vents, cold seeps, and the enigmatic creatures of the Hadal Zone. The Trieste's voyage underscored that Earth's last great wilderness, its deep ocean, holds wonders and lessons yet to be fully uncovered. The journey of the Bathyscaphe Trieste was a monumental step in humanity's quest to understand its own planet. It was a mission born of ingenuity, driven by courage, and validated by groundbreaking scientific discovery. Piccard and Walsh, in their cramped sphere, faced the crushing unknown and returned victorious. Their story is a powerful reminder that our world, even its most inaccessible corners, holds profound secrets waiting to be revealed. The Trieste proved that with bold vision and daring execution, no frontier is truly insurmountable.